New York Yankees infielder DJ LeMahieu catches a ball thrown from home plate in a steel drill during spring training workouts at George M. Steinbrenner Field. Ron Holt-Matade, USA Today Sports, Chris Carelli, SNY, TV, Facebook, Twitter, About Me, Archives. The Yankees had a wrench thrown into its roster plans for 2019 when Didi Gregorius underwent Tommy John surgery in October. The decisions made to fill the gap remain puzzling, at least for me, including the signing of infielder DJ LeMahieu. It is not that LeMahieu is a bad player by any means. The 30-year-old is a former batting champion. He hit .348 in 2016 for the Rockies, and one of the best defenders in the game at second base, 3 Gold Glove awards, including 2 straight honors. The perplexing aspect of his signing is that he's filling a utility role, at a hefty price of 2 years, $24 million, which won't maximize his potential production as a second baseman. Typically, super utility-type players are on the field at least 5 days per week. How will the Yanks accomplish this with LeMahieu, and how might it affect the rest of the players? The Yankees have handed the shortstop role to LeMahieu's former teammate Troy Tulowitzki until Gregorius returns. In order to provide LeMahieu the necessary work to keep him in the mix, they will seemingly remove second baseman Gleyber Torres and third baseman Miguel Andujar from the lineup on occasion to provide the veteran at-bats. There is also a good chance the Yanks will rest Tulowitzki every so often to try to keep him on the field. That would likely necessitate shifting Torres to shortstop, though LeMahieu has suggested he could play shortstop if needed. Finally, the Yankees have indicated LeMahieu could see some time at first base, where the Yankees have Luke Voit and Greg Bird vying for the starting role. Resting Andujar and Torres to create an avenue for playing time to LeMahieu seems short-sighted, especially from an offensive perspective. Further, as I wrote recently, shifting Torres back and forth to shortstop to either relieve Tulowitzki on occasion or in the event the latter is injured might be detrimental to his development at second base, a position he is far from mastering. Lastly, it would seem more plausible for LeMahieu to receive reps at first base if Bird, a lefty hitter, wins the spring training battle, and that might be a long shot. From the outside, it appears the Yankees signed LeMahieu more as an expensive backup option for a multitude of potential roster issues than they did with a concise plan that creates the best value for his services. At present, LeMahieu's value can only be maximized if Andujar is terrible in the field, or if Tulowitzki gets hurt, or if neither Voit nor Bird impress during spring training. As a sporadically used player, LeMahieu's cost looks to be exorbitant. Backup plans are important, however, the players signed to handle such roles are not typically paid as a starter. This leads to another potential issue for LeMahieu and the Yankees. What if there are not enough reps because Tulowitzki is healthy, Andujar is solid at third base, Torres continues his ascent, and whoever mounts first baseman is performing well? We have seen time and again how difficult it can be for perennial starters to shift to an inconsistent bench role. Last season, the Yankees employed Neil Walker in a similar situation, and it took a lengthy period of consistent playing time for him to resemble the player he had been in the past as a starter. LeMahieu has 5 years under his belt as an everyday player, so the transition to scattered playing time and at several positions could affect him as well. The Yankees clearly needed to address the vacancy at shortstop and ready for potential issues in the infield, but the means to which they did, the tandem signings of Tulowitzki and LeMahieu, appear to have holes, when a true bench utility infielder might have sufficed. Instead of providing clear answers or a succinct plan that puts the entirety of the infield in the role best suited to the individual player's strengths, they've taken the wait-and-see approach. Carelli, why passing on Machado won't come back to haunt Yankees greater than read more. Carelli, why Yankees plan for Tulowitzki makes little sense greater than read more. Harper, Tulowitzki's veteran presence already being felt greater than read more. New York Yankees left fielder Brett Gardner gets ready for batting practice during spring training at George M. Steinbrenner Field. Still, USA Today Sports' Brett Gardner, the longest-tenured Yankees player, debuted in 2008 and won a World Series in 2009. Though he and the Yankees haven't won a World Series since, he's optimistic in their chances in 2019. "I think we're better this year than we were in 2018, Gardner told reporters on Thursday morning. "Obviously the season hasn't started. But at this point, I think we've got a better group of guys in place than we've had, maybe than I've ever seen." Butch Still, John Harper, SNY.TV, Twitter, Tampa, betting that Troy Tulowitzki will stay healthy and play at something resembling his old All-Star level probably wouldn't be a wise investment based on his recent history. But, for the moment at least, it's as if the ghost of Derek Jeter is back at shortstop for the Yankees. He famously idolized Jeter, wearing No. 2 for the Rockies and Blue Jays. And to hear others talk about Tulowitzki, he brings some of that same star presence. San Diego might have been a surprise landing spot for Manny Machado, but the Yankees' decision to pass on the 26-year-old should not have been a shock. Yet, there are fans who will have a hard time letting go of the Yankees' choice. The Yankees apparently believe they have their third baseman of the future in soon-to-be 24-year-old Miguel Andujar, who is coming off a second-place finish in the 2018 American League Rookie of the Year balloting. While the point will be made that Andujar will never be the fielder that Machado is at third base, the Yankees' youngster doesn't have to be for fans to forget about the newest Padre. Butch Still, one of the reasons Troy Tulowitzki signed with the Yankees, aside from his admiration for Derek Jeter, is that the Yanks were willing to give him a no-trade clause. When he was traded from Colorado to Toronto during the summer of 2015, Tulowitzki was shocked by the deal. Now, with a chance to pick his destination after the Blue Jays released him with 2 years and $38 million remaining on his contract, Tulowitzki wanted to ensure he'd be with the same team in 2019 from start to finish. Mariano Rivera pitched a scoreless ninth inning. AP, former Yankees closer Mariano Rivera, who recently became the first unanimous Hall of Fame selection, is accused in his native Panama of failing to support 2 children outside of his marriage. Rivera, who is married with 3 children, is being asked to appear before Panamanian judicial authorities to answer the accusations, but the 49-year-old spent Tuesday in his native country defending himself through local media outlets, calling the allegations unfounded. "I have always acted as a good family father," he said, according to the Associated Press. October 3, 2018, Los Angeles, California, USA. Los Angeles Dodgers infielder Manny Machado waits for his turn in the batting cage prior to Game 1 of the 2018 NLDS Playoff Baseball Series at Dodger Stadium. Mandatory credit, Robert Hanashiro. USA Today Sports, Robert Hanashiro. If winning is a priority for Manny Machado, one former player does not believe he will experience much of it after inking a 10-year, $300 million contract. Carlos Beltran, who currently serves as a special advisor for the Yankees, said on Tuesday he understood why Machado chose the Padres and signed the most lucrative free agent deal in American sports. Yet the former outfielder said if Machado were older and had done this before, things would have went differently. SNY illustration, John Harper, SNY.TV, Twitter, Tampa. The Manny Machado news broke on Tuesday just as the Yankees were taking the field for their first full squad workout of spring training, and it turns out they weren't lying in the weeds on the Johnny Hustle guy any more than they are going to make a last-minute bid to sign Bryce Harper. It also wasn't so much a surprise at this point as a statement of belief in the team they've built, as well as further proof of how times have changed for this storied franchise. Indeed, the Yankees may have won 100 games last season, but they were no match for the Red Sox in the postseason, leaving them to watch helplessly as their famed rivals won still another World Series, their 4th since breaking the curse of the Bambino in 2004. Yankees media highlights 0 hours 2 minutes and 21 seconds. Clint Frazier speaks about being healthy for Yankees camp and what he had to do to get cleared. Luke Voit speaks on competing at first base. Yankees outfielder Clint Frazier is ready to put 2018 behind him. The 24-year-old sustained 2 concussions last season, the latter forcing him to shut down for the second half of the season as he struggled to find at-bats at the major league level. Yet Frazier said on Tuesday that he is fully healthy now after a long off-season of rehab that included attending concerts and sitting as close as possible to the stage. Judge high expectations for 2019. 0 hours 1 minute and 24 seconds. Aaron Judge addressed the media and talked everything from health, expectations and batting leadoff in 2019. Manny Machado is finally off the free agent market, and with Bryce Harper not on the Yankees' radar, it appears their roster is set for the season barring any out-of-the-blue signings. And Aaron Judge is perfectly fine with that. The Yankees made a few moves this offseason to add to their 100-win team of last year, but there was no big splash like the Giancarlo Stanton trade in 2018. GM Brian Cashman, instead, adding players like James Paxton, Adam Ottavino, and Troy Tulowitzki while re-signing Zach Britton and J.A. Happ as well. August 17, 2018, Seattle, Washington, USA. Los Angeles Dodgers shortstop Manny Machado, 8, tosses his bat after hitting a home run against the Seattle Mariners at Safeco Field. Mandatory credit, Jennifer Buchanan. USA Today Sports. Jennifer Buchanan, Chris Carelli, SNY, TV, Facebook, Twitter. About Me, Archives. Once SNY's Andy Martino described the Yankees' feelings about Manny Machado as being lukewarm. Everything about the pursuit, or lack thereof, rang true to those beliefs. The Yankees did not believe Machado was a difference maker at his terms and price, shifted gears and never sniffed near his desires. It's actually easy to debate both sides of the question as to whether the Yankees were right or wrong to pass on Machado. I'll say this, the Yankees might have become better in the short term with Machado aboard, but they will not suffer because he is not. Moreover, failing to sign him will not come back to haunt the club. It's difficult to take the stance that the Yankees would not have become a better team with Machado manning shortstop or third base. However, it's also cringeworthy to suggest that the Yankees are going to pay the consequences for passing on a 10-year, $300 million deal, knowing all too well how these deals can crumble long before they wind down. Los Angeles Dodgers shortstop Manny Machado hits an RBI double during the 9th inning against the Arizona Diamondbacks at Chase Field. Jennifer Stewart. USA Today Sports. Andy Martino, SNY.TV, Twitter, Port St. Lucie. In recent days, talk of Manny Machado and the Yankees would not quite die, but that had nothing to do with the team. Right up until the end, when Machado joined the San Diego Padres on the mega deal he had always sought, some in the players' camp were urging him to consider a shorter-term deal with the Yankees. But word all throughout Machado's free agency was that he would chase the highest offer, and that's what ended up happening. Here is the full history of the Yanks' very half-hearted pursuit of Machado. As reported last fall, the team came out of its annual pro scouting meetings lukewarm on the idea of signing him, and all but ruling out pursuing Bryce Harper. Young fan on Machado signing. 0 hours 1 minute and 30 seconds. New York Yankees fan Jacob Carpenter reacts to the news of Manny Machado signing a 10-year, $300 million deal with the Padres. After being told Manny Machado had agreed to a huge deal with the Padres, Jacob Carpenter, a young Yankees fan at spring training in Tampa, started screaming his head off about being glad Machado didn't come to the Bronx. This little kid's rant was incredibly impressive. But once he calms down, someone should give him a gentle reminder about the many other AL East stars the Yankees have poached. The Yankees had been in pursuit of free agent 3B/SS Manny Machado, who was reportedly looking for a deal that will pay him roughly $300 million over 10 years. Now, the saga appears over. February 19, 12:27 p.m., Machado has agreed to a deal with the Padres, Jeff Passan of Yahoo reports. The deal is worth $300 million over 10 years, reports MLB.com's Mark Feinson. The deal has an opt-out after the 5th season, reports Tim Brown of Yahoo. September 26, 2018, New York City, New York, USA. New York Mets starting pitcher Jacob deGrom, 48, pitches against the Atlanta Braves during the first inning at Citi Field. Mandatory credit. Brad Penner. USA Today Sports. Brad Penner, the Yankees' Luis Severino took a bit of a jab at Mets ace Jacob deGrom on Sunday over DeGrom's potential self-imposed innings restriction if he doesn't get an extension by opening day. On Monday, Severino claimed I wasn't saying anything about DeGrom's situation after he clearly did just that. On Tuesday, deGrom responded, "Everybody is entitled to their own opinions," deGrom told Matt Ahilt of NJ.com. The business side of the game is why you have agents. They're looking out for my best interest and advising me. New York Yankees outfielder Estevan Florial during the Arizona Fall League All-Star Game at Surprise Stadium. Mark J. USA Today Sports. After being ranked No. 2 last year behind Gleyber Torres, outfielder Estevan Florial enters 2019 as the Yankees' #1 prospect, according to the latest Top 30 list released by MLB Pipeline. Rounding out the top 5 are RHP Jonathan Loaisiga, RHP Albert Abreu, RHP Davy Garcia and RHP Clark Schmidt. While MLB.com's Jim Callis notes there are swing-and-miss concerns with Florial, his multiple above-average tools put him atop the Yanks farm system. The site gives Florial a 65 grade for running and arm, a 60 for defense and a 55 for power. April 2, 2018, Miami, Florida, USA. Boston Red Sox former player David Ortiz, left, sits next to former New York Yankees Jorge Posada, center, and former New Yankees player and the Miami Marlins chief executive officer Derek Jeter, right, during the second inning of a baseball game between the Boston Red Sox and the Miami Marlins at Marlins Park. Mandatory credit. Steve Mitchell. USA Today Sports. Steve Mitchell, there's a simple reason why Jorge Posada's return to a full-time job in baseball at 47 years old is coming with the Marlins and not the Yankees, team for which he played his entire career. The Yankees didn't offer their former catcher a job. There was nothing official. They just wanted me to be a guest coach, Posada told the New York Post. The 5-time All-Star and owner of 4 World Series rings said he was not really disappointed. "It is what it is. I'm okay," Posada said. Exclusive Aaron Boone interview. 0 hours 5 minutes and 13 seconds. Yankees manager Aaron Boone sat down with SNY's Andy Martino. They talk everything from changing culture to never-known postseason injuries. Yankees manager Aaron Boone sat down with SNY.TV's Andy Martino on Baseball Night in New York to talk about New York's revamped bullpen, what he expects in his second year as manager and how he hopes his club can win its first World Series since 2009. New York Yankees designated hitter Giancarlo Stanton singles against the Toronto Blue Jays during the third inning at Yankee Stadium. Andy Marlin. USA Today Sports. John Harper, SNY.TV, Twitter, Tampa. On his first day in Yankee camp, Giancarlo Stanton wasn't making any bold predictions or declaring that New York has yet to see him at his best, but he said just enough to make it seem he believes year 2 in pinstripes will be something closer to his NL MVP season of 2017. Which raises an obvious question: is there legitimate reason to believe he's more than a streaky mistake hitter who will always be vulnerable to elite pitching, as it appeared last season? New York Yankees pitcher Luis Severino walks toward the dugout after being relieved during the third inning of a baseball game against the Oakland Athletics in Oakland, California, Wednesday, Sept. 5, 2018. AP photo. Jeff Chu. AP. Luis Severino claims he wasn't specifically discussing Jacob deGrom's situation, despite saying $17 million and, his name. During an interview with SNY on Monday, the Yankees ace was informed that his comments about the National League Cy Young winner were getting a lot of attention. "Nobody has said anything to me about it," he told SNY contributor John Harper. Andy Martino, SNY.TV, Twitter, on October 8, 2018, during the terrible span of 10 minutes or so between a playoff loss and a grilling from reporters, Brian Cashman offered Aaron Boone an out. "You can tell them about Britain," said the GM, whose typical approach is to preemptively reveal stories that are likely to leak anyway. Stanton on Harper and Machado. 0 hours 0 minutes and 30 seconds. Stanton owns the largest contract in baseball. Many thought Harper and Machado would break it this offseason yet still remain unsigned. Giancarlo Stanton owns the largest contract in Major League Baseball, a title many thought would belong to either Bryce Harper or Manny Machado at the start of spring training. The two-star free agent still remain unsigned as of Feb. 18, although Harper is reportedly close, and it is possible the two players still garner contracts that would keep Stanton as the highest-paid player in the league. The Yankees slugger has seen what has transpired this offseason in free agency, and like many he is left confused as to what is going on. Toronto Blue Jays shortstop Troy Tulowitzki throws out Boston Red Sox right fielder Mookie Betts during the first inning at Fenway Park. Winslow Townsend, USA Today Sports. Chris Carelli, SNY, TV, Facebook, Twitter. About me. Archives. The Yankees had plenty of preparation time to find a temporary replacement for shortstop Didi Gregorius, who underwent Tommy John surgery on October 17, 2018. Yet, the club's answer, or prayer, is Troy Tulowitzki. As if the Yankees were lost in 2013, the team apparently loved what they saw from Tulowitzki in a workout conducted for MLB squads in mid-December. Recall, Tulowitzki was released outright by the Toronto Blue Jays, who will pay the shortstop all but the MLB minimum, $555,000, toward his $19 million due in 2019. Taking a flyer on a player like Tulowitzki at the league minimum salary is understandable, but to outright name him the starting shortstop for a team with legitimate hopes to win a World Series title before seeing him step foot on the field in a competitive atmosphere is not. Yankees infielders at work. 0 hours 0 minutes and 25 seconds. Didi Gregorius and the Yankees infielders worked on their defense at training camp. Didi Gregorius and the Yankees infielders work on their defense at spring training. New York Yankees starting pitcher Luis Severino works out as pitchers and catchers report for spring training at George M. Steinbrenner Field. Kim Clement, USA Today Sports. Luis Severino fired off an unexpected fastball toward Mets pitcher Jacob deGrom on Sunday. The Yankees ace, who recently inked a 4-year, $40 million extension to buy out his arbitration years, was critical of the reigning National League Cy Young Award winner for considering an innings limit this season if he does not sign an extension with the Mets. "For me, I would never do something like that," Severino told Randy Miller of NJ.com. "I want to pitch. I love to pitch. I love this game. I'd never do that." New York Yankees designated hitter Giancarlo Stanton hits a single to left field during the 8th inning against Toronto Blue Jays at Yankee Stadium. Catalina Fragoso, USA Today Sports. Giancarlo Stanton's stats in 2018 were all down from his MVP season in 2017. But Yankees hitting coach Marcus Thames is confident the four-time All-Star will rebound in his second season in pinstripes in 2019. "I know he's been working on some things," Thames said, according to the New York Post's Dan Martin. Who will lead off for Yankees? 0 hours 0 minutes and 59 seconds. Aaron Boone had an interesting idea for a leadoff hitter for the Yankees in 2019. It'll likely be Hicks, but he didn't rule out Aaron Judge. Leading off for the Yankees, Aaron Judge. Yes, you read that correctly. Yankees manager Aaron Boone said that Aaron Hicks will likely lead off most games for the Bombers, but when asked how he could flip the lineup, he noted Judge potentially filling that slot. "First, I think DJ LeMahieu, especially with the way he hits left-handed pitching," Boone told the media on Sunday. "He can certainly be an option up there. We could even flirt with the big boy up there, Judge, in certain situations. But I do like Aaron Hicks at the top of the order. Brett Gardner could play into that mix, especially against right-handed pitching. So it kinda depends on who's in the lineup that day, who the pitcher is, who the opponent is. I would say Aaron Hicks is probably the front-runner to be that guy to lead off." September 16, 2018, Atlanta, Georgia, USA. Washington Nationals right fielder Bryce Harper, 34, in the dugout against the Atlanta Braves during the second inning at SunTrust Park. Mandatory credit, Adam Hagee. USA Today Sports. Adam Hagee. While the Yankees' pursuit of Manny Machado hasn't been aggressive, the Bombers haven't been on Bryce Harper's radar all off-season. Yes, the Yankees don't necessarily need Harper with Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton in their outfield already. But, at age 26 and a left-handed power bat, Harper would be a perfect fit in the Bronx. So what's held the Yankees back from looking Harper's way? CBS Sports' Jim Bowden says it's Harper's defense and price tag that is turning the Yankees off. Luis Severino headlines Sunday 0 hours 0 minutes and 55 seconds. Watch the best moments from spring training on Sunday in Tampa for the Yankees. John Harper, SNY.TV, Twitter, spring training. In some ways it's the best time for baseball writers, a time when players, managers, and executives are more relaxed and willing to talk before the pressure of the long season takes hold. I first went to spring training in 1982, and suffice it to say we writers were a lot more relaxed as well in those days, before internet deadlines and social media changed everything about the job. The quotes aren't nearly as colorful these days, when players seemingly live in fear of the Twitter reaction to even the smallest misstep. But as I head to Florida to write about both the Mets and Yankees for SNY, there's still nothing better than baseball and sunshine in February. Didi Gregorius, 18, Aaron Judge, 99, mandatory credit, Ken Blaze, USA Today Sports, Ken Blaze, Andy Martino, SNY.TV, Twitter, Tampa, Florida. It was a day of transition for the Yankees at Steinbrenner Field on Saturday, with glimpses of both the past and future, and questions about whether the Yankees can hold their new core together. The marquee event was an afternoon news conference in which CC Sabathia announced his plans to retire at the end of the season. Sabathia was a key member of the Yankees' most recent championship team, and a link between the Derek Jeter, Andy Pettitte, Jorge Posada era and the Aaron Judge, Gary Sanchez, Luis Severino group. March 1, 2018, Clearwater, FL, USA, New York Yankees center fielder Jacoby Ellsbury, 22, works out prior to the game at Spectrum Field. Mandatory credit, Kim Clement, USA Today Sports, Kim Clement, Jacoby Ellsbury is already missing the beginning of spring training and it is likely that will mean he will start the 2019 season on the injured list. Yankees GM Brian Cashman said on Saturday that the oft-injured outfielder, who is battling plantar fasciitis, is not running on flat ground and that he will not arrive to spring training until mid to late March. At the earliest he could be here is mid to late March, so we're probably looking at a start on the DL, Cashman told reporters. That doesn't mean we are looking at the IL to start yet, but just in terms of timing it could be. CC Sabathia is done after 2019 0 hours 3 minutes and 21 seconds. New York Yankees pitcher CC Sabathia announces that 2019 will his final year on the mound and that he will retire after the season. It has been known for months now, but the Yankees had an official press conference where veteran LHP CC Sabathia announced that 2019 will be his final season in the MLB. This season will be Sabathia's 19th year in the MLB, and to have the great career he's been able to put together over that time, there are a lot of people to give thanks to. During his opening comments, he started with his mother. I just wanted to make this announcement that 2019 will be my final season, Sabathia began. I want to obviously thank a lot of people. I wouldn't be here today, 18 years in the big leagues, without so many different people. But I want to start with my mom. She couldn't be here today, but her sacrificing so much for me as a kid to be able to get to this point to live out my dream. Luis Severino talks new contract 0 hours 0 minutes and 45 seconds. New York Yankees pitcher Luis Severino makes his first comments since signing a new 4-year, $40 million contract. When the deadline passed for players to avoid arbitration, the Yankees had just one player who didn't settle on a deal for the season in RHP Luis Severino. So, before Severino could get to work down in Tampa at the Yankees spring training facility, he had to go through his arbitration hearing to hopefully hammer out a deal fast to avoid wasting any time. Well, he got a long-term extension instead. The Yankees and Severino agreed to a 4-year extension worth $40 million, that comes with a 5th-year club option worth $15 million. New York locked up Severino through his 20